Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the post-game show. Arkansas, yet again, finds a way to lose a game. In position to possibly eat up the clock and get a win on the road at Ole Miss, number 17 ranked Rebels. Arkansas fumbles the ball, gives it back. The rest is history. If you're not surprised at how this ended, I've got a lot of it's more of the same. The difference here is that last year Arkansas got absolutely spanked by the Ole Miss Rebels. Smoked. This time, they yet again find a way to lose a close game. I think the spread, this thing started out at like 9.5. I think at one point it dropped down to, I want to say 6.5, maybe 5.5. I don't even know what the spread was at the end of this. I don't care. Travis Williams has got to go. I said it. Although he's not the reason why they lost this game. It was, once again, an offensive player fumbling the ball, but the defense had absolutely no answer for Lane Kiffin, for either quarterback that checked into this game. Ole Miss beat you in the first half with one arm and one leg. You had a quarterback who messed his hand up and another one who's coming off an ankle injury. And they walked into the end zone in the first half. This is Travis Williams has got to go. I don't know what else to say. I stood up for Travis year one. I said let's see what they do, build off of it in year two. And what they do in year two, they were worse in the secondary. Today they couldn't get Ole Miss off the field in the first half. I mean, this is absolutely what happens when in the first half you just shit the bed on defense. The offense did everything they can to keep Arkansas in the game. They kept this thing competitive. They kept this competitive. They bailed Travis Williams out time and time again. It's unfortunate the way, the offense would end up losing the game for Arkansas. I don't understand it. I have never seen a coach lose so many games in a similar fashion to the point where fans aren't even surprised. We got a poll up. Are you surprised at how the game ended? 79% of you said no. While I don't, player mistakes are going to happen. They said in the first half it was defensive, a lack of communication. Guys, this has been an ongoing theme and something they talked about in the offseason. About communication issues. And apparently they haven't fixed shit. You remember the Alabama A&M game? They said the same thing about how they started off, how there were communication issues. I don't know yet. I'm just so, man, I'm happy they made it a game. Talon Green left it all on the field once again for the Razorbacks. This offense was churning and burning. They were doing a great job in a hostile environment at nighttime in Oxford. Not that Ole Miss is like a great, like, that atmosphere is not one that you fear, but it's a road game in the SEC, and the offense did everything mostly right. Talon Green did enough in this game where there better be a positive narrative about him from the national media moving forward, at least this week. This was not on Talon Green. This wasn't on a running back fumbling the ball. You got in this mess because your defense couldn't stop shit. Travis Williams has got to go, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is year 3. There's got to be some change here. I'm not saying they need to fire him on Monday, but, like, how many more times are we going to see this from the defense where they just fold? You know, it's like they're like a wet paper bag defense. I'm not even sure that wasn't bend don't break defense. That wasn't Willie Robinson. That was chief level bad. That was Chad Morris era bad defense. Now, is Ole Miss actually pretty good on offense no matter who the quarterback is, apparently? I don't know. I wasn't that impressed against Kentucky. I don't know. They should not have had that level of success. It shouldn't have been that easy for Ole Miss on offense, and it was. I mean, there were 50-50 jump balls. You know, they kept talking about how, we've got size. At least our DBs are 6'3". They got beat on a couple of jump balls. What good did that height do them? The excuses are old. It's the same shit, man. And yet, at the same time, like, I am thrilled with what I saw from the offense. I am thrilled. I don't know where my head's at as far as what to expect moving forward. You know, we're going to talk about that on Monday night. We're going to have to take a look at this schedule, figure out are we moving any of the 50-50 games that we think, well, maybe Arkansas's got a shot. You know, we've got like 5 of those left on the schedule. For me, I've got 5 50-50 games that I had some of them in Arkansas's favor. I don't know where to move the bar just yet, but I'll say this much. This can't be, and unfortunately it is, and it has been for 3 years. Well, 2+ years. We're not fully done with the third season yet, but Travis Williams, his defense is just, I don't know. You know, you have these moments against Tennessee where the game plan is just fantastic. You mostly keep Texas in check. You play pretty good against A&M for the most part. The offense kept putting them in bad situations last year. And the thing is that the defense could never really respond. The defense couldn't actually bail the offense out that often. It was like, well, the offense put us on our own 40 or our own 35, and they would still give up points. It's not as if they could, typically get out. I'm not saying they never got out of those, forcing a punt or a missed field goal or whatever, a turnover on downs. A lot of mental mistakes by this defense. Don't get me. I'm not going to talk about the SEC officiating. Oh my God, I don't know what I still don't know what targeting is anymore. I haven't figured it out, and I don't think the NCAA knows. I don't think the officials know. I am Prue with the super chat. Lost by 5. Left 6 points on the field. Yes, with missed field goals. Defense was totally cheek clappage. Again, no game plan on D. Again, maybe 2 SEC wins this year by T. Will says I improve. I don't know where. Again, I'm gonna have to. Oh man, we're gonna have to reevaluate some things tomorrow, and then talk about it on the Monday Night Lights live show, which will be at 6:30 p.m. I'm pretty sure Tim Neal will be with me on Monday night. I don't know about Travis just yet. T-Dub with the $10 super chat says, I never thought it could be, but I think I could be done with Arkansas football. I'm so sick of this. Hunter Yurchek don't care. No one on the Hill cares. Why should we? So done with any Sam-led team. T-Will is trash. The anger is palpable. It's definitely listen, I'm tired of the excuses, man. I mean, I don't know how often I'll read something in Discord where they're defending the defense, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's more of the same by this defense. It's more of the same by the defense. Now they somewhat settled down, and that's great in the second half, but it was still just more of the same as this game unfolded. Now again, the fumble is on the offense. What SEC team are we beating with this defense? Josh Huffman wants to know. Someone said in Discord, and I like this comment, we've got a 10-win offense with a 2-win defense. If that's not the best, that is probably the best description of this team. I am really impressed with the defense, or with the definitely not the defense. Really impressed with the offense. Special teams is shit. 2 missed field goals. We had the mistake last week against Arkansas State on special teams. We've not yet seen the kick return game or the punt return game be what we've been told it's going to be all offseason. We've not seen that yet. The mistakes, they had to burn a timeout last week because they had 12 men on the field when Arkansas State went out to I think kick a field goal. I can't remember, but I know we had to burn a timeout on special teams. Once again, because they weren't prepared. You had 2 missed field goals today. Now, listen, at the end of the day, I don't know that you blame that on Scott Fountain necessarily. The kicker just missed 2 field goals. But I said in the offseason, I don't know what to make of the kicking game. I'm not liking what I'm hearing out of camp. Now, he does have a 50-yarder under his belt. And it's not easy to go on the road and kick 2, 45-plus yard field goals or whatever the yardage was. It's not easy to do. And Starzik is young. And he'll probably, they've had a pretty decent run of kickers lately. Here's Crash Out. We have a powerful Bobby Petrino offense, baby, but a trash D. Yeah. Thank you for the super chats, guys. The second half adjustments were fine. And I'm not, Bobby, if you heard what I said, and I know you're probably talking to people in chat, it was the way this game started. It was the first half. It was like a wet paper bag out on defense. I mean, now I do think there's the chance here that they've got something at quarterback. Ole Miss might, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very impressed with Trinidad. Now, I was impressed with Trinidad Chambliss, but I was also thinking in my head, like both sides of my brain, right? Wow, Chambliss looks pretty good. He's making, instant throws. He's getting rid of the ball fast. He delivered a couple of nice throws on the run. Well, while pressured, not necessarily on the run. But then also on the other side of your brain, this secondary is absolute cheeks. So we really don't know how good Ole Miss's offense is. Trinidad did make some pretty good plays. It's just as frustrating, though, to watch a hobbled Austin Simmons walk out onto the field and do what he did. It's a wet paper bag defense, man. Now, again, yeah, I'm thrilled about the second half. They did, and I said that in the Discord live. Travis Williams has done good at making adjustments, not all the time. We have seen him do it, and he did it in the second half. And part of that was also, you want to give all the credit to the defense for only giving up 10 points. Let's not forget, they had almost, like a 6.5, 7-minute drive by the Arkansas offense that also kept them on the sidelines. So let's pump the brakes before we want to give all that credit to Ole Miss or to the Arkansas defense. Arkansas has been able, under Petrino, they've been able to manufacture these long drives that just keep opposing offenses on the sidelines. Certainly makes Travis Williams look better. I'm just tired of more of the same. Yeah, they gave up just 10 points in the second half. Great. What'd they do in the first half? How much yardage did Ole Miss have in the first half? How many points did they have total in the first half? You're year 3. You're year 3. Now, well, again, is this a better offense in terms of total offense? Not, Jackson Dart was incredible last year for them. Are they going to be able to score more points in the SEC? Is this a better scoring Ole Miss SEC football team? Yeah, it might be. It could be. And I think also because some of these SEC teams, like I said at the beginning of the year, I think there's going to be a number of teams take a step back. Trinidad shocked me. I was not prepared for that. Austin Simmons was left off the injury report. I thought he was full go. I knew he was a little banged up. But I thought Austin Simmons was full go. And I don't know, now that we've gotten a full taste of what this defense could do against adversity, I don't know that it matters who the hell was quarterback for Ole Miss. It's just so disappointing that we're here. It's the same nonsense. It's the same either getting off to a slow start with the defense, giving up a ton of points, or then the opposite happened, and it's the second half where the defense just gets absolutely rolled. And then you sprinkle in the offense fumbling the ball and the mistakes that they made a year ago. We always talk about Oklahoma State and what happened there, and other games where you know, Taylor Green or somebody fumbled the ball or he throws a pick. He threw a pick in this game. Luckily, there was a flag, and they had to wipe the interception. Why, when down 2 scores, did we bleed that much clock on offense? We could have used a couple of those minutes back. Well, I mean, again, they wanted T-Dub. I think they wanted to keep that offense on the sidelines. They wanted to keep them on the sidelines. Travis Williams cannot continue to go man-to-man coverage, man-to-man cover 0 and keep his job, says Dustin. KL says their third-string quarterback would have lit us up. I mean, that's a pretty I don't even know if I could argue with that. I really don't. I don't know if I can argue that. Now, let me say this. I don't know that I'm buying that this is the game that's going to, like, the season's over. It's way too early in the year, and let's be real. I think this offense, the scoring aspect of this offense is better. The problem is I think the defense is the exact same. I mean, they could not get – and to be fair, you know, Trinidad got rid of the ball really quick or he ran it. But I don't see – and I'm going to have to take a look at the deep analytics tomorrow. I don't know that they racked up a bunch of pressures. They can't force turnovers. This is not a good – once again, it's not a good takeaway defense. 3 years straight now, they're one of the worst takeaway defenses in the SEC, even though we're just 3 games in. It's just more of the same, and that's the problem that I have. And they could – I don't know that they're worse. Last year, now to be fair, we can't compare Jackson Dart to either of these guys that they have at quarterback, but Jackson Dart last year, I mean, Ole Miss had almost 700 yards of offense last year. 562 of it through the air. That was last season. We're going to get into the numbers here in just a second. I appreciate everybody for being here. Please consider joining Patreon. If I've got a mod in chat, if you could share that link, that would be great. If you could share the Patreon or Discord link. Shout out to Patreon supporters. Winter cards went out. When did I ship those out? Friday, I think. So hopefully the winners of those cards, these were autographed cards. These were some pretty badass cards. Appreciate you, Kerper. There's the Patreon and the Discord. I appreciate you guys. Mike and Mac, I see you. Bobby Shiz, laugh out loud. I said it after game 1. We have to win. Yeah, no, you're right, Bobby. You're right. They're going to have to score 40 points a game. And the crazy thing is, I think they're capable of doing that. Now, there's some of these teams who defensively are actually impressing me a little bit, but I think overall Arkansas is a caliber of team on offense. They should be good enough to keep you in some games. Now, are we going to see – again, Arkansas lost this game on a fumble, but it was the defense that puts you in such a hurry. You have to talk about everything that led up to that moment, right? I think we're probably going to see more of that where the offense finds a way. Here we are again where the offense finds a way, even though they can play 90% a really good game, and then they turn the ball over or they have stupid penalties, It's more clear than ever that we are a basketball school, says John Calipari, the GOAT. Lone Sportsman says, I hate we lost, but I don't have that gut. I don't have that. Okay, you don't have the feeling. I think we can win. Special teams was a problem. I agree with that. Special teams was, 2 missed field goals. I mean, when your offense gets you in a position, and that first field goal, I felt like they probably should have gone for it. I don't know. Both defenses gave up 41 points, but we left 6. Yeah. Like I said, special teams is here we are again. Worst defense in the SEC, says Cheesy Skull, 2-10. They're not going 2-10. No, I disagree with that. I think there is going to be a lot of reactionary emotions to this loss, but let's look at it this way. Arkansas had a shot. They were in position to take the lead under 2 minutes to go in this game. Now, Ole Miss had 3 timeouts. I'm not saying Arkansas would have won it. The way Ole Miss's offense, I mean, they had a 90-something yard drive, right? But you were in position. That's what's important. You were in position. Despite being down, I mean, a pretty decent margin there for a little bit. The offense got you back in it. And there was a moment where the Arkansas defense did get Ole Miss off the field. Arkansas just didn't capitalize on offense. And that's one of the reasons why you don't give the offense a high grade. And because of the fumble at the end. God. Oh, man. The crazy thing is, last year or the year before last, I might have lost sleep over. I'm not going to lose sleep over this loss because it's just more of the damn same. It's like, yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And I didn't think anyone was going to blow the other out. I didn't think Arkansas, I said they would win 8-9 points if they could win because I just was not impressed with what we'd seen from Ole Miss the previous 2 weeks. But we hadn't seen this Arkansas defense hadn't been challenged yet. They hadn't been challenged yet, and now they were challenged. The offense rose to the occasion until the very end. Special teams choked twice. The defense was atrocious, predictable. But the offense kept them in this game. They're not going 2-10. In fact, I think they're going to beat someone that I don't think many of us think they're going to beat because of how good this offense looks. I saw Green going through his motion or going through all of his reads, stepping up in the pocket, making throws a year ago he could not make. He's hitting guys in stride. That was one of the biggest complaints that everybody had about him, and they were right. He couldn't hit guys in stride. He's doing that this year. He still missed a couple of wheel routes this year, but he hit a couple tonight, I'm pretty sure. I know he hit Washington on one. Washington has the potential to be the best back we have had in a while. Braylon Russell getting those tough yards, physical, powerful thighs, man, and he's using them. They've still got a couple other options in the backfield. We saw a little bit of A.J. Green. He looked pretty good a couple of weeks ago. Of course, that was against an inferior opponent, but I mean, who knows? Maybe if he's available and we need 4 or 5 yards on a 3rd and short, maybe he can come in if the running backs are a little gassed. Rodney Hill, who I think Cam Settles is the one who's hurt. Cam Settles is, I figured he was going to catch a red shirt anyways this year. But this offense does look better to me. The problem is the defense is the exact same. The secondary I don't know if they're going to be worse, but last year they finished, dead last in the SEC in passing yards allowed? 109th in the country? Maybe they'll be better. Maybe they're 95th this year instead of 110th. I don't know. But overall, not just the – oh, my gosh. I know they're going to say it's communication, and it looked like there was a communication issue because of how easy Ole Miss was able to just find open targets down the field. Trinidad looked like a Heisman. Now, I'm going to be real. I was impressed with him. I don't know if they continue to do this. I don't know. Again, you don't know because we all know that Arkansas's defense, what they were a year ago, and we were told they made all these upgrades in the secondary. Again, I appreciate everyone for being here. Make sure you like, share, hit the subscribe button. I know there's going to be a few feathers ruffled with this one. I know someone's going to be upset, but I think Travis Williams is, until he proves it to me, I don't know. We might have a Dan Eno situation on our hands where if things do get ugly and this defense shits the bed week in and week out, and maybe they've taken a full step back in the secondary and things are worse, I don't know that he survives the year. If Arkansas's not winning games, I know some of you think they're going to go 3-9, 4-8. You might be right. I don't know. But if you get into that situation, he's got to be the first guy to go because based on what I've seen, the offense is not the issue. Now, to be fair, this was their first challenge on offense. I guess on both sides of the ball, but Ole Miss's defense, oh, boy, I don't know. I don't know what to make of what's going on with Ole Miss. They just look like vanilla the first 2 weeks. And then tonight they just did whatever they wanted. That's generally a sign that your defense is probably the problem here when Kentucky and when Ole Miss looks as vanilla as they did, or it's possible that they've got a quarterback battle and that Trinidad should be the starter. I don't know. I'm not here I don't give a shit about what they do the rest of the year. I care about what Arkansas does the rest of the year. And Travis Williams is just not – this is year 3, man. I'm glad they were able to make it. I'm glad they made the necessary fixes in the second half. I'm glad that they only gave up 10 points. Fantastic. But you were in the situation that you were in because of the defense digging you in such a deep hole in the first half. Ty question, why not fire T. Will? We actually have Woodson. I mean, Woodson is someone who I think is a future defensive coordinator, but they're not going to fire him now. Not 3 games into the year, not when they, when we wake up on Monday morning, we're probably going to look back on this game and go, you know what? They did fight. And there is a sign here that this might be as good of a team or better than what we initially thought. That's a possibility. Just with the questions all being on the defensive side of the ball right now. Well, and special teams too. I had them at 7-5. I'm going to have to reevaluate, and I'm going to give you an update on Monday night where I'm at. If I'm backwards, if I'm moving them up, if I'm keeping them the same. Remember, the beginning of the year, this was a loss for me. Ole Miss was a loss, and I still got to 7 wins. So, in where I was at the beginning of the year, coming right out of fall camp, I wasn't sure that Simmons was the guy, but I know Ole Miss is chock full of talent. I mean, they've closed the gap. They've widened the gap, rather, between Arkansas and them in terms of personnel. Talent on the field. They have more talent. They just do. That's what happens when you've got a pretty well-built NIL situation at your program, right? They're now winning in the NIL era, whereas Arkansas has been climbing a hill. Pre-NIL era, Ole Miss was outside of Hugh Freeze, who was cheating his balls off. Ole Miss was an afterthought. They're crushing it in the NIL era, and you just got to tip your cap. You lost the battle for Kiffin back in 2020. You lost the battle, or whatever it was, 2019, whatever. Before the hiring the next coach for the 2020 season, you lost the battle. Ole Miss is, they got the guy, and now they've beaten you. Now they've beaten you 3 straight years. They're just on a higher level than Arkansas is now. I don't think it's a wide gap, but it looks like it's a widening gap. It looks like it's getting wider and wider. I don't know. I don't know if they're a playoff caliber team yet or not. They look like shit on defense. But again, I think some of that's just how good Arkansas is on offense. Take the poll. The poll is, are you surprised at how this game ended? 81% of you said no. All the offense is going to do is make us look good losing. Yeah, I think you're just jumping. That's a very reactionary take, Hog Blitz. We don't really know. This is the crazy thing, is we don't really know how good Ole Miss is and just how bad Arkansas's defense is. I mean, we think it's pretty bad based on what we saw today. It could just be maybe Ole Miss is maybe they're just really damn good on offense, and Arkansas had no answers. I'm still of the belief that this secondary is cheeks. They're awful. I still think that. Run defense wasn't that bad. What's up, Cody? How you doing, man? Tucked, Forever Tie, Stun the Like. I appreciate that. Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like button. Share the content. Subscribe if you're new here. Make sure you turn on the notifications. That's what really helps this channel out, is liking it, but also turning on all notifications. How many of y'all actually had us beating Ole Miss, honestly? That's a good question, Steve-O. That's a very fair question, because remember, I said at the beginning of the year this was a loss for me. Lane Kiffin he's just a better coach than Pittman. I think we all agree with that. He's just a better coach. He just finds a way to win this game. And last year he beat the living dog shit out of Arkansas, but year before that it was close, and this year it was close. He just finds a way. How you gone when you ain't right within? Brian, I have no idea. What? Alan Ellis says Ole Miss beat us with 2 injured quarterbacks. They did. And made it look easy. That's also true. That isn't a good Ole Miss team. Our defense is just that bad. Okay, it might be the case. I think you're probably right. I think it's a combination. It might be a combination of the two, but the Arkansas defense is just – oh, man. Here we are. It's more of the same from the defense. And to be honest, nobody is surprised by that, right? Clay, I did miss the super chats. Wow, I'm sorry. That's weird. These didn't pop up on my screen. Let me read these really quick. Reefer Conway. I love my people out of Conway, man. We have so many of you in our Discord, too. We're trying to organize a get-together in Conway. I swear to God, I think half my audience lives in that area. Even after watching these hogwash games, I always look forward to your show. I appreciate that, man. Your show afterwards. Thank you for staying passionate and consistent. I appreciate that. Thank you, Conway. Reefer Conway. I love that name. How do you feel about the officiating in this game? It was bad. I don't know what targeting is. There are several huge holds. I just thought, they hit Arkansas center, Kittler. They hit him with a horrible holding call, and yet Ole Miss was doing the exact same thing in the interior part of their line. Certainly sometimes Rhodes was getting held. And look, I get not calling them all, and for the most part, I'd have to go back and rewatch. I felt like in the second half it was better, but in that first half it seemed lopsided. But a lot of it too was Arkansas just making mental mistakes, which is more of the same. Mr. Crashout says lose to Ole Miss, but upset Notre Dame will happen. Wait a minute, what? Bro, you are hot and cold. You crash out, Kyle, you monster drinking son of a bitch, you. You are the most hot and cold person, you and Hog Blitz. I swear to God. Make up your mind. I think Hog Blitz said Arkansas was going to go 8-4 at one point. Y'all are bipolar. I swear. Make up your mind. Put down the monster and tell me. Put it down, Kyle. Enough of the monsters. I'm still riding Ty. Hey, I see you, Lake Show. Oh, you said it wrong. I'm just playing with you, man. But so what did you? Well, no, but you said. Wait a minute. You said lose to Ole Miss, but upset Notre Dame will happen. Yeah, get the likes up, share the content. Sharing is caring. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Jalen needs to get a damn Uber back to Fayetteville. Him and Star 2. What a way to end that game, man. Oh, what a way to end that game. Yeah. Jalen Brown fumbled that ball. 1:52 left to go in the game. Ole Miss advances to 3-0, 2-0 in conference play. Arkansas 0-1 in conference play, 2-1 overall. Boy, Memphis is going to be interesting. Did you guys watch Memphis today? I caught part of that game. They looked like they struggled quite a bit with Troy. But I'm going to go back and watch, and I think Troy actually, if they played a little bit smarter football, I think they had a couple of key penalties. It could have been a closer game. I don't even know what the final score was. Ty, is the sky falling? I don't know. Arkansas D made Ole Miss quarterback look like the second coming of Cam Newton, says Brian Barton. Oh, man. I Am Prue says, worth noting, Memphis beat beat down Troy today on the road. Troy nearly beat Clemson, who turned out today to be a fraud. Yeah, Clemson's looking a little rough. Still a huge task ahead for next week. Trap game for sure. Trap game is probably the best way to put that game. Yeah, Troy did play Clemson. That's right. They did play them pretty tight, but Clemson guys, they do look very fraudulent. That's not a playoff team for sure. Unless they turn Dabo Swinney, his style of coaching, and his refusal to hit the portal. But I don't know. They just look really rough. I don't know. Clemson looks bad. Maybe I don't know. How much of that is just Clemson being not good or not as good as we thought they were? Curtis Johnson says, I can't see a win in the schedule for a while. Okay. Market watchers announce Arkansas Kool-Aid sales expected to tank next week. Here's the thing. We've been right. I feel like we've been right about a few things on this channel, along with some of you guys. Secondary, I've been skeptical of. I mean, since T-Will's been here. To be fair, even under Barry Odom, when they had Jalen Catalon making plays, still somewhat skeptical. But those secondaries were better for the most part, right? We were right about the secondary. We were right about the offensive line. I mean, they do look improved. Green had, again, I'm going to have to look at the pressure report tomorrow, but he looked like he had a pretty solid pocket. Green is better. How much better, I don't know. I love what I'm seeing. Apparently, Quinn Grovey says he's doing all the right things pre-snap this year that he was not doing a year ago. And that's that year two Bobby Petrino effect that we keep talking about. Is he going to have a game where everyone's going to get pissed, because of his play? Yeah, it's going to happen probably. The receivers, I think, might, as a group, are better. The tight ends are better. The tight ends are getting more involved in this offense. What do you know? They can actually put points on the board in SEC play. Those things we got right. I was skeptical of Starzik. Everything I had heard was this dude is, I don't know, skeptical. And he missed a couple today. Maybe these are the last two he misses. I doubt. We've gotten some things right here. Mike Washington, we were hearing about his 22.5 miles an hour, 22.5 miles an hour. He looks like he is a big play back. Braylon Russell can pick up physical short yardage. He's capable of it. There's actual push on the offensive line. They can actually win battles along the line of scrimmage that they couldn't win last year, as far as I can tell so far. That'll be a question for Memphis. That's something I'm going to look at. Memphis, we do our pre-snap, whatever you want to call it. Our preview of Memphis will happen on Wednesday night. We'll have our Monday Night Lights live show. Monday night, be here, 6:30 p.m. Hopefully I've got both Travis Ford and Tim Neal alongside me. DB's got NIL with Burger King. They let opposing team have it their way. Oh my God. They just look so bad tonight. I don't know what excuse you could make. I mean, it was so bad. It looked like last year. Let's go into the numbers. Was it as bad as we thought? Now, of course, there's the eye test, which we all know what we saw. Let's look at the paperwork here. All right. Trinidad, who I don't know, man. He looked really good. He looked really good with a banged up throwing hand. Kenai Walker, by the way, we didn't, and I was going to do this at the beginning. Sounds like the update was that he was moving his limbs, I think. I don't want to report that wrong. I think he's okay. But thoughts and prayers with him and his family. It's got to be terrifying. I'm so sorry. I meant to start off with that, and I'm just so, based on what we saw tonight, I was. Oh. But Kanai is we know he had to leave the game. And they paused the game there for a while. But anyways, Trinidad, 21 of 29. Again, these guys just had 8 incompletions off of 30 throws. 353 yards, 1 touchdown through the air. Austin Simmons came in, was 1 for 1 for 4 yards, and a touchdown, because it was just that easy. Trinidad also carried the ball 15 times, 62 yards. He had his longest run from the line of scrimmage was 17 yards, so he had 3 total touchdowns. Kewan Lacey, they really – the run defense looks about like what it was a year ago. They're not going to give up big yardage to running backs, I don't think. And Lacey, although he got banged up, but he did check back in, Lacey is a very capable running back. And this dude ran the ball 17 times for just 44 yards. That's the good. That's the good part of the defense. They were able to contain Lacey. However, Trinidad was just such the focal point of the offense. Arkansas just had no answer for this guy. And then Taylor, 4 carries, 9 yards. So both those guys averaged under 2.5 or right at about 2.5 yards a carry. Now, Lacey did have a score. The longest run from the line of scrimmage from a running back, and that's 24 carries or whatever total from running backs. Not, Chambliss ran 15 times. He had 62 yards, 4.1 per carry. But everyone else outside of Simmons' 8-yard run was under 3 yards a carry. Everyone else that touched the ball. Chambliss had 4.1. Something tells me they've got a quarterback battle. They've got some. I don't know if I'm going to be curious to see how they handle that. Harrison Wallace, 6 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Stribling had the other touchdown. He only had 2 catches tonight for 6 yards and a touchdown. They had big plays through the air. They did so much after the catch in Arkansas. Poor tackling. Oh my God! Did you guys? Dude, the safeties, the corners, nobody could tackle. Nobody could tackle. Trying to arm tackle guys high, and they were just walking. They were just walking by the defensive backs, and everyone just looked bad. Perkins, who was spying Green, he got smoked tonight. I don't care. They can wave their Perkins flag all they want. He got smoked tonight, but he had 9 tackles. He had a TFL. And again, according to this, Ole Miss had 0 sacks tonight. And that's right. Guys, they are so much further ahead and again, that's why I just strongly disagree with you if you think they're going to go 2-10 this year. I don't know that I take 4-8 either. 5-7. I really like what they're doing on offense so far. Mississippi may had to replace a lot of the dudes from last year that got drafted, but they replaced them with some pretty decent players. May not be as good as what they had a year ago, but I mean, this was a top 3 transfer class, and they got some absolute beasts out of the portal in that front 7. And they couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop Arkansas's run, and they couldn't bring Taylor Green down. They couldn't sack him. Arkansas, Taylor Green goes 22 of 35, 305 through the air, 1 touchdown. He was also the leading rusher for Arkansas, 14 carries, 115 yards with a touchdown. He had the 20-yard. He had the 20-yard run from the line of scrimmage. Or that was his longest, rather. A bunch of 10 and 15-yard runs. Mike Washington, 13 carries, 65 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, it was very clear Ole Miss wanted to attack the line of scrimmage. They were trying to stack the box. They were trying to bring a little bit of pressure, run blitzes. And Washington saw a seam, and he took it. Braylon Russell looked pretty good. 4 yards a carry off 9 carries, 37 yards and a touchdown. Those guys combined for 4 rushing touchdowns. Cam Shanks on that run, he had 4 yards. Omega Blake, I think he's going to get hit with 2 drops tomorrow. That's going to really hit his PFF grade. But Omega Blake, 6 catches, 81 yards, a touchdown. He had a 30-yarder. Mike Washington, once again, in the passing game. He had that 35-yard catch. He had 2 catches, 53 yards. Jaden Platt, look, the tight ends are getting involved. Jaden Platt, 3 catches, 53 yards. Jalen Brown, 4 for 40. C.J. Brown, who also I think had a drop. They might give that a pass. They might give that to the defender as a pass breakup. I don't know. C.J. Brown, 2 catches, 26 yards. Raylan Sharp, 2 for 23. Rohan Jones, 1 for 21. Pretty sure tight ends were targeted, I want to say 5 times total, and they come away with 4. And I think they're still going to take on a bigger role. Arkansas did have a sack that went to Miguel Mitchell, and they had 4 TFLs on the game. Ole Miss had just 2 TFLs tonight. 2. Now again, they're not very good against the run, and they've got some. They have quite. This is why I don't think right now I would put them as a playoff caliber team. I know they're now going to be heralded as because Lane Kiffin is the media darling. So now Ole Miss is going to be they're a top 10 caliber playoff team. I don't know, man. Line of scrimmage play for them is shit. A lot of questions. But you know what? The SEC overall looks like it's taking a step back. So who knows? Yeah, Cam Shank, 1 punt return for -2 yards. We're still not seeing what they've been selling on him. Sarzik was 0 for 2, but he was 5 for 5 on extra points. Devin Bell punted 1 time for 47 yards. Oscar Bird for Ole Miss punted twice for 110. What's up, Brim? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Just here to say, Ty, you're the man, and the Hogs are always going to hog. Shout out to TG for keep us in the game. Yeah, TG absolutely kept Arkansas in that game. I still want to see more Mike Washington. I still want to see – this was a perfect opportunity to just run the ball down these guys' throats. And they did that for the most part, but I would really like to see Mike Washington. I want to see him at 16, 17 carries. I want to see Braylon Russell. I don't want to see him at single-digit carries. He's yet to have a double-digit night on the ground, double-digit carries. I want to see him get up to 12, 13, 14 carries a game. I really think this run game could be extremely potent. And listen, they ran the ball for 221 yards tonight. That's pretty damn effective on the road. All right, Arkansas tonight was awesome on 3rd down. They were 9 of 12. That was better than Ole Miss, who was 8 of 12. 526 total yards. You outgained Ole Miss, who had just 475. 305 through the air, 221. I mean, you beat them in every category but passing yards. Damn near the exact same penalty total on yardage. 7 for 68 for Arkansas, 7 for 63 for Ole Miss. You were a turnover away from possibly winning this game. You were a field goal away or 2 field goals away. I mean, again, this is just typical of how Arkansas loses these damn games. This is just how it happens. It's always the same thing. It's either your offense fumbles the ball late or your defense just shits the bed. Last year, it was a lot on the offense, no doubt about it. The offense turned the ball over and just stupid mental errors either early or late in the game. It's the same old, same old. The song remains the same. And this is what is going to have people come down on the Razorbacks, despite the fact they played themselves back into it. The defense did make, and I want to be clear about this, they did make really good second half adjustments. Like I said in the halftime show, we have seen him do that, but it's how this game started. It's just, like I said a second ago, it's more of the same. They can't ever just be what they're supposed to be on offense and better on defense. It's like, well, no, they're going to be great on offense, but their defense is going to be absolute shit. Or the other way around. The offense is going to have a bunch of mental errors, turn the ball over 2-3 times a game, and just find a way. They're going to go 3 and out on really big possessions before the half or towards the end of the game, whatever. It's the same thing. I don't want to dismiss Ole Miss. Again, I'm going to be curious to see what they look like moving forward. They've got a lot of questions around their line of scrimmage play. And to me right now, that's what keeps them out of the playoffs. That's what probably puts them at 8-4, maybe 9-3, but it maybe just still not enough to make the playoffs. We'll see. I don't know. It's still too early, Again, I do appreciate all you guys for being here and watching the live show. You guys know we've built a community here over the years. A lot of you are OGs and you've been here damn near since day one, and I appreciate you guys. And yeah, hopefully Arkansas gets some things fixed and we have something more positive to talk about coming out of next weekend. Crazy to think we have been like this for 24 years. Well, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty broad. I mean, they've certainly had some good years. Appreciate that, Addison. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, can I? Appreciate that, man. Like I said, I think you guys might have – I don't think you're as good as you were a year ago, but you guys have something cooking, I think, on offense. Your defense, your line of scrimmage play, there's some question marks there, and I think you guys know that. It ended up being a good game, just until the very end. It ended up being a good game. Again, what to expect moving forward, I have no idea. For both teams, honestly. Because the SEC, there's already, who would have thought Clemson would be, well, I guess not everyone's surprised about Clemson, but, LSU's looked pretty vanilla. Alabama is what Alabama, we'll see what they turn into. Georgia did you guys watch Georgia? Georgia found a way. They came back and won that game on the road. Did not expect that many points given up. So who knows what this season turns out to be. Hell, Ole Miss may go undefeated. I mean, I have a hard time seeing that, but you never know. I've been saying this for the last 3 or 4 years. The SEC is slowly and gradually taking steps backwards. They're not as strong as they were pre-NIL era. They just can't hoard as much talent as they used to. They just can't do it. Alabama can't. Alabama and Georgia and Florida, they can't hoard. LSU too. They can't hoard up all these 4 and 5 stars that are third string. And trying to work their way into the 3 deep. Now these guys are hitting the portal and they're going elsewhere. So and they're leaving the SEC, a lot of them. So the SEC is just taking a little bit of a step backwards. Or it could be the other way around too. It could be that just the middle part of the SEC, like Ole Miss, right? Ole Miss has gotten better. They have benefited from the portal. No doubt about it, right? When they weren't, with Hugh Freeze, they were mostly a pretty vanilla team, just like Arkansas was. Ole Miss is taking that step in the right direction in the NIL era, whereas Arkansas has gone backwards. Yeah, that injury. You know what? I didn't see the injury. I only heard it. I was right in the middle, getting dinner and sitting down, and I saw that. And I heard that. I saw that. I heard them talking about it. Jordan Harrison says that's what sucks the most. The SEC was gettable this year, and we just don't have the defense to do it. I don't think they do. I don't think Arkansas has the defense to do it. I really don't. Okay. Before we go, again, shout out to Patreon supporters. I appreciate you guys. You are absolutely, you're helping keep this ship afloat. If you're not a Patreon supporter, please consider joining. I know I say that, probably goes in one ear and out the other for a lot of people. Please consider, because I don't run ads during the live shows because you guys don't like them, so I don't run them. I only have one sponsor, and I'm trying to keep it that way. I want this to be a mostly Patreon-ran show, a community-ran show. So if you would, please consider joining Patreon. If you sign up for the legendary status, you have a shot at winning an autographed card. You get full access to Discord. Tusk Talk Discord completely opens up for you if you join Patreon. So please consider joining. It really helps keep the ship afloat. And by the way, shout out to Direct Service Overhead. Ever had your garage door break at the worst possible time? Yeah, we've been there. That's why Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company, is the go-to garage door repair company in Little Rock and all of Central Arkansas. They offer same-day emergency service, and they fix everything from busted springs to brand-new installs. These guys show up fast, get the job done right, and they stand by their work. So don't wait around. Call Direct Service Overhead today, 501-244-3667, or check out directserviceoverhead.com. The link is provided for you down below. Your garage door will what? It'll thank you. That's what it'll do. All right. We'll be back on Monday and got a lot to talk about. Hope to see you here. Again, all the links, by the way, are provided for you down below. Crash Out wants one last question. Ty, what's your thought on the receiving core? I didn't like the drop balls tonight. There were, I felt like there were at least 3. PFF will probably give credit to Ole Miss on pass breakups. It looked like there were about three passes dropped. But they are getting open. whether it's off the shallow crossing routes. I haven't seen them really try to stretch the field. And I think they have more speed than they had a year ago overall from top to bottom, and I'm not seeing them stretch the field a whole lot. Again, maybe I missed a throw or two. I don't know. I typically watch every single snap. Sometimes I get a little distracted. I typically try to rewatch stuff on Sunday. I don't think they're trying to stretch the field, and that feels like it's missing, and it's what this offense might need. I love that tight ends are more involved. The running backs are involved in the passing game. I want to see them stretch the field down, stretch out the field. Stretch the field out. Throw the ball deep. They've got speed. At least that's what we were told. They got a number of guys that are speedy. They're quick. They're shifty. I don't know. Okay, we'll talk more about it on Monday. I hope to see you here. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys. 6:30. Be here.